and welcome back to another installment of Poke Fodder, where today we have an announcement of 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 maintenance related to the major update. And while we finally have a date, and I'm excited that we have a date, just give us the update already. I mean, if you know when the update is going to release, why are you extending it out basically another week? Just update it already, please, and thank you. With that being said, we're having maintenance on the 8th of August, and today is the 4th, I believe. This actually came out last night, so it's 4 days from today. And just so happens, here's the sad thing, and I'm going to be a little selfish here, but here's the sad thing. This gets released on the 8th. I'm heading out of the country on the 9th. Therefore, you guys are going to get one video from Poke Fodder about this major update. By the time I come back to the US, you guys are going to know more about this update than I do. And it won't even be worth me doing a video over. So this may be the last bit of information about the update that you get from Poke Fodder until you guys already know everything. And that makes me sad. But it is what it is. And I don't really have such a big ego that it bothers me. I just kind of find it sad that they don't do the update today or tomorrow. Or maybe they did it yesterday, or maybe on Tuesday. Previous Tuesday, not future Tuesday. But by doing it, I believe the 8th is a Tuesday going into Wednesday, so it kind of falls in line with when they typically do their updates. So I get it. I guess they felt like the natives were getting restless and they had to go ahead and release the date. They were borderline having a revolt about their game. Let's jump into this. We're going to touch on things and maybe give a little bit of a, I'm going to give you my opinion, but my thoughts, my opinion. We get another preview of what looks to be kind of a screenshot here. Pre-register for the upcoming team match event to receive bonus items to use in the event. And you get to choose between the 3 starters: Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise. Select a team and tap OK to confirm. You'll be able to change your team selection at any point during the pre-registration period. Honestly, I have no clue what this means. This is similar to Pokemon Go, where you picked a team, and I believe in Pokemon console games, handheld games, whatever the case may be, you picked a starter. And so this falls in line with that. If I had to guess, if someone put a gun to my head and said, what does this mean? I would say that it's going to be a team contest, and the team that has probably the highest win rate. I'm not going to say straight victories, because I feel like probably Charizard most people are going to choose, but whichever of these, Venusaur, Charizard, or Blastoise, has the best win rate during a team event is going to get some kind of a prize. Strictly a guess. So there's that. Maintenance will begin at 5 a.m. UTC on the 8th and end at 10 a.m. UTC. And it's actually going to, we are in version like 3.0.12 right now, maybe, which I guess would make sense if they did one update. If they did 2. Anyway, they're going to go to version 4. Text adjustment of existing effects associated with implementation of new logic. Note that there are no changes to the effects themselves. We made the text easier to understand. Not sure exactly where that's implemented, but some of the descriptions are confusing or ambiguous at best. And they've gone a long way in fixing a lot of those. I know Poliwhirl used to say that Poliwhirl's wheel would shift to clockwise instead of the opponent. And I believe that has been fixed in a previous update. What is coming in this update? We already know Megas are coming out. So there's that. And they're doing a partial stat balance and adjustment. And this, with this information / notification, what I regarded as the most probable leak about what was coming out no longer holds water, simply because in the leak it said that there were no balances or new well, there are 15 new mons, but there are no balances or adjustments associated to previous mons with this update, and that's not going to be the case. But let's just go over this. As always, if you've already go in and put the chain levels back on your Pokemon to get a balance update, go ahead and do that. And your wheel allocation, go ahead and do that as well. I still occasionally will run into a Pokemon that has been previously updated, and it'll say it's a C level 2 Deoxys attack form, we'll say. Yet it still does the 130 damage because they never went in and put in their chain level. So it's kind of funny. They are adjusting the total value limits for plate costs from 6 to 8. We are planning to implement Mega Evolution in the upcoming major update. Mega Evolutions in this game is accomplished by using plates which correspond to Mega Stones. As part of their implementation, we have expanded the cost total limit to 8 to make it easier to set plates for Mega Evolution in your deck. With these changes, you should have more options in plate composition, even in decks which do not use Mega Evolution Pokemon. There has been no change to the 6 plate maximum for plates which can be set in a deck. What you have here is, previously you had your 6 spaces. So what we're looking at here, is this section right here. You're still only going to be able to run 6 plates, but whereas now you're limited to cost, right there, of 6, you'll have a cost of 8, which means you could run 4 2 cost plates. You're still within your 6, but you have up to 8 to use. With this being said, I really hope, and this is going to be a wildly unpopular opinion, I believe, I hope that the Mega Evolution plates, the Mega Stone plates, cost a minimum of 3 plate slots, ideally 4. And here's why. I don't want this to become where you face 5 UX Pokemon and a Mew, because that's all people are going to run. If they don't make the cost of these Mega Stone plates expensive, they haven't done anything but change the power and which Pokemon you face, but it's going to be the same handful still. My goal for the game, which probably maybe doesn't align with the Pokemon Company, is for variety. If you look on the featured duels, Deoxys, Virizion, Sceptile, Mew, Zapdos are probably in there. I guarantee they're in every one of those is in every feature match. Probably 2 of those is in every feature match, and probably one is on every team. The complaint is that the game is stale and everybody's tired of seeing the same handful of figures. If the Mega Evolution plate is 2 and people can run 4 Mega Evolutions, you're going to have the same problem of always seeing the same Pokemon on the field. If you make these expensive, and I'm talking 4, you realistically only want to run 1 Mega Evolution, because you're going to need your other 4 plate slots to do other things. That is my hope. I'm afraid it's going to be 2, but if it were only 2, I don't know that they would have a need to expand the plate slots, the plate cost to 8. And I feel like that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think it's healthier for the game, quite honestly. Giratina. Shadowclaw 100 is going to be Shadowclaw 130. The 110 goes to 130. That is almost half the wheel, and if you take this to level 5, it is half the wheel. Half the wheel is doing 130 damage. Like with Blaziken, here is the issue about making Giratina 130. it is still going to lose to all of the well-established chain level Deoxys A's. I don't foresee this being a huge change in how often Giratina is going to be used. Additionally, they have changed one of the slashes. So if you remember, there were two 50 slashes on the wheel. They've changed one to Will-O-Wisp and the other slash to Hex. This is huge because previously, if a status were inflicted on Giratina, and I doubt that anybody had a Giratina that had a status effect on because nobody runs Giratina, you would lose more than half of the wheel. And nobody's going to do that. No one's going to take a 1 MP Pokemon that is underpowered and loses half of its wheel, half of its attack. Like, it's just a very strong Beedrill without a spinner. While Giratina has 1 MP, its Shadow ability, you can move this Pokemon through an adjacent Pokemon to a spot next to the Pokemon. So you can leapfrog through figures positioned like stepping stones to move around the field with surprising speed. And while its Shadow Claw 110 has plenty of spread as its main attack, it was extremely weak against special conditions due to slash 50 being 2 locations. Now, by changing one of its slashes to purple attack Will-O-Wisp, which inflicts burn on an battle opponent, we have mitigated that weakness while stepping up with a new attack, Hex, that does double damage if the battle opponent is affected by a special condition. So this figure should be able to play a role in a deck that uses special conditions. We also powered up Shadow Claw's damage to 130 to make it equal or better than Dialga and Palkia. So Hex does double damage. I guess that means, I don't think that means everything on the wheel. I don't think this Pokemon's going to do 260 damage. I'm thinking that if your opponent, say you took your Fletchinger, burned a Pokemon, or maybe you used your Giratina, attacked a Pokemon, landed Will-O-Wisp, burned your opponent, and then attacked again on the next one, and you landed on this new Hex, it would go from 50 to 100 damage. That's how I'm envisioning that working in my head. I could see that being somewhat useful. Again, it's still 1 MP Pokemon, and they are trying their hardest to get people to use 1 MP Pokemon. I'm not sure that this changes anybody's opinion of Giratina. Rayquaza, extreme speed, which is its gold attack, from 120 to 140. Yikes. If the damage value is too high, it'll beat white attacks in addition to purple attacks, so it will be too strong. However, Rayquaza's extreme speed 120 was set as an exception. Now we have changed its extreme speed from 120 to 140 to return it to its initially set overpowering form. As the usage rate for Rayquaza increases, its ability Primal Rage will trigger, increasing chances of further increase to Rayquaza's MP and damage values. We're bound to see more instances of the opponent's energy plates being negated by the break energy attack. The powering up of Rayquaza may cause major change in the duel environment. I'll tell you right now, I'm not running Rayquaza in any of my decks. 140 is absolutely insane. But there's no way I'm going to run a Rayquaza in one of my decks. And I say this, but I may end up using a Rayquaza. But there's no way I'm running a Rayquaza, because if my opponent's running one as well, then it's doing 2 MP because of Primal Rage, 160 gold. That's great. I now also have a 160 Rayquaza, but I can't stop his 160 Rayquaza from just marching through my entire team, except for maybe Mew. Oh my gosh. Also, there really are no bad rolls against Deoxys. I'm just going to say this now, this is not the end of Deoxys decks, okay? This is not the end of them. They are still going to be there. This is just another way of the developers trying to make counters. I don't even know what to think of Rayquaza. I think it is so insanely strong that people aren't going to use it for fear of the opponent using it as well. Latias. Miss Ball 110 to Miss Ball 130 change Dragon Breath 70 to Dragon Breath 100. Luster Purge from 120 to 140. And Dragon Breath 70 to 100. That is... they still have their hallucination. I honestly, I'm fearful of the Latios and Latias rush at this point. In my head, I'm trying to think, how do you stop this? My guess is Vibrava. If you go first, you can't even put Vibrava out. Long throw Vibrava. If you go second, you can put Vibrava out to slow them down. Terrakion turns Latios's blue dodge into a miss. That's one way. Mew, which can hold back because of its ability to stop 100 plus attacks. But runners that do 140 and 130 damage, and granted, it's not a huge slice of the wheel. I want to say it's only 20. I don't even think it's 24. I think it might be either 16 or 20. I want to say it's 20 wheel slice. But God, that's a lot of damage. I think the risk might be worth the reward of having a quick game versus losing a Pokemon early. Because you're basically going to get an entry point, or you're going to win right off the bat. And I don't know what you can do to stop it, quite honestly, other than get a lucky roll. We'll see. It's kind of interesting. Last night, before this came out, I was looking at Trainer Tips videos when he was playing Pokemon Duel. And he was using Latios and talking about how strong and great it was way back in January or February. And here we are, we'll say it was February because it was around the Super Bowl. So here we are half a year later, and I feel like people are going to be back to running Latios and Latias combos. You have Druddigon, Revenge 40 to Revenge 70. This is if you have Pokemon in your PC, you gain, I think it's 20 damage for each Pokemon in your PC. So 70 would go to 90, which could go to 110. It was actually a really nice Pokemon. Back in the day, it was really nice when, 40 up to 60 meant something. But 70 up to 110, probably won't see us a whole lot in League, but definitely could see it in a gym, for sure. Dratini, change Tail Snap to Freezing Tail and decrease its wheel piece size. So where it was Tail Snap was half the wheel, now they've decreased it. Dragon Rage, I believe, was 80, and they've increased that, but it was tiny. Like 16 at the most. 12 to 16, I want to say. And increase the wheel piece size of Push Aside and decrease the wheel piece size of its miss. We've set up Dratini with a new wide attack with new settings, Freezing Tail. Just like with Ice Beam, this attack causes the battle opponent to become frozen if this Pokemon is knocked out. If you power it up to level 5, Dratini will have a 50% chance to spin this attack. The new Dratini has sleeper potential to form the core of a deck strategy, such as combining with EX Suicune, which has an attack that can exclude frozen Pokemon from the duel. And, just adding to icing of Pokemon, which sets them up to be banished by Suicune. Could be, listener pointed out, this could be a really annoying deck with 3 Dratini, 3 Suicunes. Could end up causing a lot of problems for people. I still think any type of deck where you're relying on gimmicks, per se, as opposed to attacks and placement, aren't going to fare as well in the long run. But it's probably going to be super annoying to battle, for sure. And then Smoochum, increase the wheel size of Sweet Kiss and decrease the wheel size of Miss. Not really sure what that is for, except if we are going to have Jinx come into the picture, then Smoochum might be easier to evolve. Which all leads to maybe a Dragon Ice deck gym if we still have the gym system. We've made those changes, and that is kind of what's going on. Still don't know which megas, we still don't know what all the different modes are, but at least we have a date. And wow, the damages that some of these Pokemon are going to do. Goodness. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Head over to Discord, head over to my Reddit. Let's have a conversation about this. Tell me what your thoughts are. Are these changes good? Is it absolutely ridiculous? The just steroidal buffs that these Pokemon are getting. Are you going to use Latios and Latias? Are you going to use Rayquaza? Or are you going to shy away from those? Let me know. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. You've heard mine. In other news, and this video is really long already, so we're not going to play any games. But in other news, my 3-3-3-7 ranking is a new all-time high. Pretty excited about that, I'm not going to lie. When my win to get over 3,300 was very anticlimactic. I went against a rush deck. I opened with Mew, got attacked, rolled shuttle flip, bounced around the corner, went to the entry point. My opponent attacked me again, and I rolled shuttle flip again to get to the goal. So it wasn't a long drawn out battle that you would expect, and that I was expecting. It was actually kind of funny. But super excited to break 3,300. The deck that I'm running here may be on life support based on the changes that are coming up. I feel like Mew. I feel like Sceptile is a must with its ability to get to 140, although not all the time, but definitely to get over 140 if you have a chain level on it. I think Virizion just got stronger because of its Grass Knot ability, and it's not huge, but I think it got stronger because of it. I think that Terrakion just got stronger because of its ability to limit the blue moves. And I think I said Mew, but I think Mew got a lot stronger as well with its ability to deflect high attacks. I'm interested to see if they come out with new Pokemon, and I'm not even sure that they're going to. Other than the Megas, I'm not sure that we're going to see a banner with new Pokemon. I think you could have Rayquaza, the Latios, Latias, Giratina, and the new recommended boosters. So I'm actually not predicting that we see any new Pokemon in there. Just a re-release, and then Megas will be the new ones. But those are just my thoughts. Tell me what you think. Let's have a talk about this. We've got 4 days to speculate, and until next time.